Colander.
Rice in a metal sieve set of
Colander PTSD. From the Herridge episode.
Start the rice cooker, dance to the song of its people.
Uncle Roger rice cooker. Sing the same song also. See?
Chef Brian Tsao here, not your typical chef, and happy Easter, everybody. Today, I'm going to be reacting to this YouTuber challenge, Uncle Roger, Joshua Weissman. You may be wondering, what does Uncle Roger and Joshua Weissman have to do with Easter? Absolutely nothing. I don't know, eggs, Easter, whatever. Obviously, I didn't try hard enough to make a connection. Sorry. Quick shout out to my new sous chef level patron, Justin Wang. Thank you so much for your support. And if you enjoy this show and want to support me further, please consider becoming a patron. Link in the description below. Also, if you'd take a quick minute to go onto Instagram and follow Mission Sandwich, that is the official Instagram account of my upcoming sandwich shop due to open April 27th in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and where you can finally get to try some of my creations. If you're in the New York area, be sure to come by and say hi. As always, we do a giveaway every month, and this time it's for an official Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical snapback hat. This contest is available to everybody worldwide. All you have to do is like, comment, be subscribed, and we pick the winner at the first episode of the next month. Be sure to get in on this. What you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Subscribe, comment, like, do it now. If you're new to the channel, I am a professional chef with 18 years of experience. I've defeated Bobby Flay on the Food Network show, Beat Bobby Flay, as well as run the world-renowned kitchen of Beauty in Essex, located right here in New York City. The views and opinions expressed in this show are exactly that. They are just my views and opinions based on my experience working as a culinary professional, but sometimes I miss things and sometimes I don't get things right. So make sure you let me know in the comment below. I would love to hear from you. And with that said, let's react to some shit, but better.
So let's begin.
Bold. That's some bold shit you're saying, Josh. You better bring it.
I actually love Uncle Roger. I've watched him multiple times and I find him very
He's got the orange polo too. Amazing.
entertaining. Uncle Roger, that's a good looking fried rice. Now, I do think that we can do better.
Before we can even start making your fried rice, you need, well, rice. It must be leftover cold rice.
Correct.
Cooked. With that said, let's talk about how to cook your rice. Uncle Roger is correct. The holy grail of rice cookery is a beautiful rice cooker.
1000%. I already like how this is starting, letting you know right off the bat. Best case scenario is using day-old rice. A lot of you guys have mentioned in the comments of previous videos, you don't have access to rice, blah, blah, blah. Stop making excuses. Buy your rice cooker or order it from your local Chinese restaurant, okay? I know there's one. I know you have a menu on your fridge with a magnet over there. Just call them. I want some rice. You're already gonna order from there, so just ask for an extra container of rice.
Is Uncle Roger hallucinating? This is first white guy with rice cooker. Uncle Roger impressed because he using same brand of rice cooker as Uncle Roger. If Uncle Roger go to your house and I see you have baby elephant rice cooker, I know your rice gonna be good. But this rice cooker may be too expensive for some niece and nephew. If niece and nephew poor, just buy random $25 rice cooker and then get soji rushi when you have your shit together.
I've been playing guitar for a long time, and I've taught some people over the years, and they always ask me, should I buy an expensive guitar or a cheap guitar and then move on up? I typically opt for get something just decent on the cheaper side. Make sure you have someone experienced go with you and have it set up properly, and then move up after you feel like you're really going to stick with it. I agree with Uncle Roger. Get something cheap. It's going to be functional, and if you're only using it a few times and don't feel the need for upgrading, then you have something that works but didn't break the bank.
Colander.
Rice in a metal sieve set of
Colander PTSD. From the Herridge episode. However, Josh is using it very differently from my observation than Herridge. Herridge was using the colander to rinse the rice after it was cooked. She used the boiling method, which I mentioned is a legit technique. Uncle Roger shit all over it. I did not agree with the rinsing afterwards part. Granted, I've never done it myself, but the whole idea is that it's in this colander, it's stuck in there, you rinse it, but it's gonna trap a lot of moisture. And I saw that she didn't, at the very least after rinsing it, didn't spread the rice onto a tray and let some of that excess moisture evaporate. In Josh's case, he's doing it before he's cooking it. And actually, I do this all the time out of convenience where, if I'm making a batch of rice for the restaurant, not a big batch, but something smaller, like at Beauty and Essex, we did a sushi dish for Valentine's Day. And we didn't need a giant quantity of rice like one of my past restaurants was a sushi restaurant. We'd have to make huge quantities. So I put it in a colander and just ran the water over it and, used my hand to mix it around. It was very easy and convenient. So I'm all for using the colander to wash the rice.
Fill it up with water, toss.
Okay. He just using colander to wash rice,
There we
not
go.
to drain rice like BBC food. This one okay.
go.
But look at him, so much equipment just to wash rice. Uncle Roger, I just washed my rice in rice cooker.
Very, very true. You could totally do it that way where you just put the rice, you measure your rice, you put it directly into the insert pot that goes into the rice cooker, clean it and drain it. I only do that at home, and I tend to not do that in the restaurant setting because at the restaurant setting I want to be a bit more precise. And when you do it this way, yes, you do pour off the water and you kind of put your hand on the side to prevent any grains of rice coming out. There's always going to be some excess moisture trapped in there inevitably. So by using the colander, you are basically getting rid of as much moisture as possible because it's in a colander. All the water is going to flow out from the bottom. It's just a personal choice. Either way completely works, especially if you're using the finger technique or the palm technique versus literally measuring a ratio of 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1, whatever you may choose to use.
Place that in a rice cooker and add roughly equal parts of water. This was 2 cups of medium grain, so I used about 2 cups of filtered water, but you can always use the finger test.
2 cups of water to 2 cups of rice. That's for short grain, like Japanese style sticky rice, that could actually work. I usually go like 1.25. However, actually, he's using this really high quality rice cooker, and it does let out some excess moisture, but it doesn't let out as much excess moisture as a stovetop pot. So generally at, the restaurants, especially like I mentioned at Beauty and Essex, we didn't make much rice, so we didn't have a rice cooker. I did it on the stovetop. And, for that scenario, you leave the pot kind of cracked, the lid to the side just a tiny bit. And so that's why for that, I would do like a 1.5 ratio because more moisture is coming out. You can see very quickly, there are lots of variables when it comes to cooking, and it just comes down to your knowledge and experience of how you get it done. But as long as the end product comes out correct, you're in a good place.
He used finger, not bad.
Now close the lid, start the rice cooker, dance to the song of its people.
Uncle Roger rice cooker, sing the same song also. See?
For our fried rice sauce, get a small bowl, add a 1-inch knob of galangal that's been finely grated.
Sweet. I mentioned in Gordon's episode, galangal. It's like it's a much more floral, almost slightly citrusy, not as, it looks just like ginger, but it's a completely different product. Whereas I mentioned that ginger is much more of like a sharp spice, very pungent to the nose. Galangal is a lot smoother, much more floral. I mentioned a bit more, has some mild citrus notes, but also has an earthy quality to it. It's very, very unique, wonderful, and I love that Josh is using that for his sauce base.
1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of Malaysian sambal, 3 cloves of finely chopped garlic, 1 tablespoon of sweet soy sauce, and 1.5 tablespoons of double-aged soy sauce.
This sauce look good, better than Cowboy Kent's secret sauce. Ingredient all correct, but why he measuring everything high?
Typically in Asian cuisine, even at the Chinese restaurant that I had at one point, all the wok cooks, they measured with a wok spoon, and it was just all a feel thing. I kid you not. Everyone used the same wok spoon, so you had to the way it was taught is, it's like a quarter size or a dime size of whatever, whether it was MSG or sesame oil and stuff like that. As for Josh's sauce, in my experience, the sesame oil always went in at the end. It's not an oil, it's almost like a finishing oil in many ways. You don't want to really abuse it with super high heat. You can, it'll still come out with sesame notes, but to really get that floral fragrance of sesame, it's really best to just put it at the end, toss it on high heat just for a few seconds, and that is how You will maintain the sesame oil's original qualities and almost accentuate it a little without manipulating it and burning it. That's just how I would go about it. He's putting it in his sauce. I'm assuming that it's going to go into the rice halfway through. Just something I would do differently. He also didn't add in a ton of sesame oil, so I think it's okay. I love the other ingredients he has in there between the garlic, the sambal, and all that stuff. Let's keep watching.
Gordon might have 2 woks, but I
Oh, snap.
have 3 woks.
Fuyo, like Uncle Gordon. Nephew Joshua is wok fuck boy also. I hope he more faithful to his girlfriend than to his wok.
Fill it with about 3 cups of vegetable oil and your shallots and begin constantly stirring with chopsticks.
Yes.
And as soon as your shallots begin to reach a golden brown, immediately remove them from the oil, and those are your fried shallots.
Very good. For something like garlic chips, shallot, crispy shallot, stuff like that, start with cold oil. Number one, these things contain a lot of sugar. So if you put it in hot, the edges and the outside are going to burn before the inside cooks. And what's going to happen? You're going to have a burnt outside with a still, not necessarily raw, but a still moist inside. By starting it in cold oil, you are gradually bringing up the temperature of the entire product together at the same time, so that by the time it hits that golden color and you take it out, remember, even if you remove it from the heat source, it's still carryover cooked. So it's going to get a couple shades darker even after you remove it from the oil. Starting with cold oil, gradually bringing it up. When it starts to get golden, like just starts to get golden, that's a pretty good time to remove your product and let it cool. Spot on. Bravo, Josh. Oh, and also when you remove it from the heat source, make sure you salt it right away. I also want to add to this, deep frying is actually considered a dry cooking method. A wet cooking method involves water, and there is no water in oil. When you deep fry, you're submerging a product in a liquid. It is not water, it is oil. And when it cooks in there, it is removing moisture, right? Whereas if you were to submerge something in water, it's actually going to add moisture to the product. So always remember that. Deep frying is actually considered a dry cooking method, okay?
Now, let's finish this bad boy off. Get
that
your
rice
most
looks good.
beautiful, big, juicy wok.
He talked about wok so sexual.
Big, juicy.
I think this nephew Joshua turned on by his wok more than he turned on by his girlfriend. I wonder how their relationship is. Nephew Joshua, do you use finger tests on your girlfriend also?
You cheeky mother.
Drizzle in 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil and begin heating over medium-high. Swirl the oil around your wok and keep heating.
He's
until the oil
seasoning the
begins to
wok.
smoke.
Good.
Swirl it around
You're
again,
supposed
then
to.
pour your oil out. From there, I added 3.5.
Great. As Uncle Roger mentioned, he's seasoning his wok, and getting that oil to the smoke point is the start of the wok. And I think that's lard he's adding in. I'm not sure. Let's keep watching.
Tablespoons of cold smoked duck fat.
Oh, ooh, duck fat. Nice touch. Okay. This is where Josh's experience and his his personal flair comes into the picture. I really like that. He's going with duck fat. Nice touch.
Smoked duck fat, fuyo, so fancy.
You literally just take some rendered out duck fat, place it in a small bowl, wrap it in plastic wrap, insert a tube of a cold smoke gun,
Oh,
such
it's
as a Breville.
smoked duck fat. Shit. All right.
Nephew Joshua just flexing on us right now. First the little man on horse polo, then the Rolex, then the cold smoke gun. Hiya.
Cold smoke guns are a lot of fun, though. I got a Traeger now, and I can smoke basically anything I could ever imagine in that thing. It is monstrous. That thing is pretty awesome. No, it's not a paid ad. It's going to be summer soon, and I can't wait for barbecue season, or outdoor grilling / barbecue season.
Uncle Roger didn't know I have to own a yacht to watch this video. I think he made so much money from all the Bitcoin he bought.
Wrap it in plastic wrap, insert a tube of a cold smoke gun, such as.
And the way he loading this smoke gun, I can tell nephew Joshua smoked weed before.
And let it sit for 5 minutes and repeat until it's as smoky as you like it. Maybe a little overboard, but just trust Papa. Anyway, heat that over medium-high heat. Add in 4 cloves of thinly sliced garlic, 2 finely diced shallots, 2 finely
Shallot,
diced red
good.
chilies, these
Chili,
are red
good,
fresh,
correct, correct.
and 2 green onions which have been finely.
Josh, I see a lot of green in them scallions. What's going on? What's going on, kid? All right. Let's. I'm curious what Uncle Roger says.
Oh, green onion so soon. Uncle Roger like green onion as garnish, but at least he not putting green onion first thing into pan like Jamie Oliver.
And stir fry over medium
pretty
heat until
early.
all of your vegetables are beautifully softened and
Okay, look like the green onion, not will.
I mean, there's no denying that is going to be delicious and looks good. I mean, you know, if that was like a condiment, you salted that, put a little MSG in there, I think that would be amazing, in fact. However, I still maintain that putting the green part of the scallions will give you a bit of a slimy texture, and it seems like Uncle Roger prefers it to be put not just as garnish, but for that fresh green, bright scallion oniony pop when you put it at the end, and it's almost just kind of like par cooked, half cooked. Yeah, you know, personal preference, not down with the green parts at the very beginning.
Good, this one okay.
crack 2 to 3 large eggs, whisk them together till homogenized, then add them to your stir-fried
chopsticks.
vegetables.
Great.
Add 3.5 to 4 cups of already
You saw he was pouring in the egg. You know, the oil was clearly hot, and the egg is nice and cooked, and it's not sticking to the pan. So that's how you know the pan was hot enough. Versus Gordon's episode, they didn't actually show you the egg sticking to the pan, but he did have to change woks, you know, basically recover from a bad situation. But yeah, wonderful job so far.
cold rice. Then add 2 teaspoons of ground white pepper and 2 teaspoons
Ground
of,
white
you guessed
pepper.
it,
That's a lot of ground tea. 2 teaspoons. 3 eggs. That looks about like 4 portions of rice. That's a lot of white pepper. White pepper is like the unsung hero of Chinese cookery, in my opinion. But that is a lot for me, even for me. And I love white pepper.
Fuyo, so nice when Uncle Roger go to therapy and they ask me to think of my happy place. This is it. But again, nephew Joshua, don't need measure. Just sprinkle.
2 teaspoons of,
What is with this teaspoon, tablespoon, half cup bullshit? You making egg fried rice, not developing vaccine for COVID. No need measure.
toss it all together, turn off the heat, and finally grab some strawberry jam and...
What?
That's a joke.
Oh, fuck. Thank God. Holy shit. I was like, what?
Phew. Uncle Roger thought he all step correct so far, but then suddenly joined the dark side with Jamie Oliver and his chili
Dark side.
jam. Almost gave Uncle Roger heart attack.
Not gonna make that mistake.
Don't just throw spoon, throw out the whole bottle of jam also.
Instead, add your fried rice sauce from earlier. Stir and toss that together until evenly distributed.
good.
And then just pop your fried rice onto a nice plate. Hit it with your incredibly crispy fried shallots, some thinly sliced green
Green onion.
Hey, okay, Josh, I did say that, you know, that onion, garlic, shallot, pepper mixture he had at the beginning looked delicious as hell, and that I was hoping, you know, I would prefer to have that fresh green pop at the end. And you know what? He added that too. You added that too, Josh.
As garnish again. That correct, that good. So he double green onion. Not bad.
that we taste test this.
Okay, so what we saw, how that video went.
This looks pretty good.
Spoon. The MSG in this really hits. It hits different. You got the
Of course, you eating salt on crack.
I mentioned, you know, I personally wouldn't put the sesame oil in that sauce base to flavor his rice. That's just a difference between chefs and preferences. I told you why I would prefer to put it in at the very end and not with the sauce. You know, I wouldn't really go too nuts with the sauce either. I would just go straight up soy sauce if I was making my version of a good basic egg fried rice. This is Josh's version. You can clearly see his signature touches between the smoked duck fat, you know, making that combination of the cooked shallot, onions, and peppers and garlic at the beginning. You know, really nice touches, and he really made this dish his own, and I applaud you for that.
This is one of the more deeply flavored fried rice that I've had. The one that Uncle Roger did looks very good, but it's also very basic in flavor. This is intense, it's layered, it's got many, many layers of flavor. Uncle Roger, I wanna know, how did I do?
I totally agree. Josh is putting his spin on it. You know, he is taking the basics and putting in his own identity. And if Josh had a restaurant, that is why you would go to Josh's restaurant, for his version of food. And again, and he's absolutely right on Uncle Roger. His egg fried rice was just straight up classic and straightforward, a bit basic, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just remember that. There's nothing wrong with keeping things basic. In fact, my default tends to stay with the basics.
Egg fried rice, so many steps. Got deep frying, got cold smoked duck fat. Take too long. If you have hungry kid and you make Joshua egg fried rice, he starved to death.
Yeah.
Uncle Roger fried rice, basic, but you can do in 10 minutes. So simple. This fried rice, so much more work, but taste-wise, Uncle Roger have to admit, it probably tastes better. It already
Hey, all right, hell yeah. Uncle Roger being humble over there and, speaking the truth. Good on him.
good work, hey. But smoked duck fat give it even more smoky flavor and many different texture with the crunch. It have two types of spring onion, raw and cooked. Uncle Roger approved. Uncle Roger will call him Uncle Joshua. But I know he also like to be called Papa.
Papa no like.
Papa keys.
Papa's favorite cheat code, trust Papa.
But Papa Joshua sound a bit sexual.
Guys, this was a great video. Again, huge respect and props to Josh. I really love his content. He took a classic dish and put his spin on it, put his identity into the dish. And as a chef, that just shows true experience. That is what a chef strives for oftentimes, is putting in their own identity. But on the flip side, it's also okay to stick with the basics. How many times have you gone to a pizzeria or a delicatessen or, just any old school restaurant where they've just been doing the same thing the old school classic way that their mom taught them for like 10, 20 years, and it's amazing, all right? They're just different and they're all awesome. So, man, proud of you, Uncle Josh. Uncle Roger, great video. I love how he could also appreciate Josh's own spin on things. If I'm going to grade this 1 out of 10, I am going to give Josh's dish a 9.9999999999999. That's it for today. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe to enter yourself in for a chance to win this official Not Your Typical snapback hat. Also, make sure you follow Mission Sandwich on Instagram. And until next time, I am Chef Brian Tsao, not your typical chef, and I'll see you really soon.